This was an idea that spawned from yesterday's stream where we were recapping Riptide, and one of the first things I started with was just the news of the day, which was that Nintendo decided to shut down P Plus at, not just P Plus actually, it was a couple other games. I'll tell you guys in a second. And I started talking about it, I started speculating on it, and I was like, wait, why don't I get somebody on my stream to tell me about it instead of me speculating, to tell me about the future of P Plus and what they're going to do in light of all these Nintendo shutdowns lately. It feels like Nintendo's going harder on it. Harder on the whole community. Maybe they got pissed at, my steak picture or something. Now they're like, you know what? Nintendo's like, yeah, we're pieces of shit. But we've been trying to not be as shitty. But now that Hugs has been posting his goddamn steak picture, and there's a hashtag that literally says, fuck Nintendo, they're like, you know what? We're gonna get meaner. To the P Plus community, my bad. That's on me. The blood is on my hands, chat. But that steak was good. I had to do what I had to do. I was out of plates. What else am I gonna use? A napkin? No. I'm gonna use my Nintendo Switch. I don't play with that shit anymore. Shit garbage. Fuck Nintendo. Yeah, so I thought, you know what? I'll get a P Plus expert into my stream, and then they could tell us about what the actual plans for the P Plus community are in light of these Nintendo shutdowns. So I wanted to get Junebug on the channel, but then I thought, you know what? I'd like to have someone whiter and taller. So then instead I got Studebacher Hoch. I said, no, Junebug, I need someone taller on the show. And he's like, why? Hugs, how does that matter? I'm like, you know what? I've been struggling my whole life because of my height, and now you got to do it too. We need Studebacher Hoch on my channel so I could say the average height of the people on this stream is like 6 foot. I could say I'm actually 6 foot tall. Average on stream. Average between two people on stream. It's genius. Yeah, no, but actually Junebug has a... he's on a hot date tonight. He's like, actually, I'm going to be on a date until like 9 p.m. Eastern or something, he said, which is pretty good. I don't know. To me, I feel like if it's a successful date, you got to be going till like 11 p.m. But, 9 p.m., fine. Junebug, a classy guy. He holds hands at most, and he goes to bed early. I respect that. Also, I didn't even ask him about the date. I think he just threw it in. I don't even think his schedule was that off. He's like, yo, dude, I'm sorry, but I got a hot date. He didn't say hot date. He just said, I have a date at this time. And I was like, all right, dude. You could have just said you're busy from this time, but you had to tell me you were going on a date. That's cool, bro. I think that's super cool. Congrats. So then I looked up Studebacher Hoch, and then we're gonna be doing it with him today. And he is also very knowledgeable. No, Junebug did not buy 500 Slippy hats. Wait, did Studebacher Hoch buy 500 Slippy hats? No, Nick Yingling did. Okay, so yeah, that's the plan today. But yeah, so we'll be doing that talk with Stude, and it's gonna be dope. We're gonna get a lot of info, and I'm gonna ask a lot of questions because I don't know shit. So I have to ask those questions. A true Sigma lets other games exist happily. I'll just put it out there. I am not a very, very knowledgeable person on P Plus or any of these Smash alts. Smash alternative games. I don't know anything about them. That's why we got Studebacher Hoch on here. And I assume there are some Melee players who also don't know anything about it. But they know about this news. And they also feel their pain because Nintendo's shit. So, because I know people on YouTube and in other communities get mad when I decide to talk about things that I don't know about, which I think is bullshit. I think you should be able to talk about whatever you want. Me giving my opinions on ultimate characters and stuff like that, even though I don't play Ultimate all the time, is not grounds for people to go into my comments and talk mad shit. So, to start, let me show y'all the announcement in case you're not caught up. This is an announcement from Low Tide City, a tournament at a water park going down in Texas. It's not exactly low tier city, but it is a water park tournament run by the same people. And being the dope organization that they are, they were running a bunch of different Smash games. And then 2 days ago, we got the news where they announced, yesterday, we were contacted by Nintendo regarding Project Plus, Beyond Melee, and 64 Remix, a whole cocktail of Smash alternatives, at Low Tide City. Unfortunately, as a result of that conversation, we are removing these events from LTC. We understand how difficult this is for these communities, and we will soon be contacting all players registered for these events with further information regarding refunds. So, not only is Nintendo being pieces of shit because they're shutting down a fan-made game that they don't really stand to lose money over it. I understand why they would do it because there's intellectual property issues. But I'd be more understanding if they kind of were just chill about everything else and they were like, you know what, guys? Look, we're always chill, right? But maybe not this chill. And then I'd be like, okay, I get it, Nintendo. Ha ha ha, it's fine. No, but Nintendo's dog shit all throughout, top to bottom. So this is just another bit of fuckery on their part, right? So not only that, but then they're also costing all these community members. What if they bought flights just to enter these events and now this event's canceled? So they're fucked on that money. Even if that's not the only reason they're there, if they take this competition very seriously, they have their own communities brewing and they're pretty big. And if they felt like this was a awesome like chance to just showcase their shit and compete the same way we love to compete in Melee and like Ultimate, they're getting robbed of that opportunity. They're just straight up getting kicked out of events because of Nintendo, and it's really fucked up. So that's fucked up. And then on top of that, tournament organizers are easily the most thankless job in the Smash community. And here they are losing more money, going further into the red. I believe that is why LTC, literally the next day, added like an extra 300 slots to the Ultimate cap. Like Ultimate was capped, but they probably were like, dude, we need bodies. We're losing all this money. We need bodies. Let's raise that cap. So that's what they did. So hopefully Ultimate can fill that up. It's fucked up in tournament organizers like Main Stage, BTS. They just straight up preemptively cut off P+, and I don't know if there are any other events there, but they cut them off because they didn't want to deal with Nintendo shit. Just so they wouldn't have to commit resources and then find out that Nintendo's fucking them. It's a shit deal all throughout. So this begs the question, what's going to happen to these communities? And for that, I'm going to get Stude. So let me first go on the Google. Oh god, Studebacher Hoch is the name of a song by Frank Zappa? Come on, dude! I'm literally trying to find a picture of you on Google and you used a song name as your tag? Come on, man, you're fucking with me here. Smashers, get your shit together, man. You made your bed, now you gotta sleep on it, buddy. Alright, we got Studebacher Hoch in the building. He'll be right here. This is what came up, buddy. This is on you. Alright, I'm gonna give you a call.
Alright.
Yo.
What happening, my man?
What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm good. Broadway the Hard Way, also a great album.
Oh, is it? I haven't heard it. I've heard of Frank Zappa. I've heard some stuff, but you know, I'm more with the millennial music.
Definitely worth listening to. But
okay.
That's not what we're here to talk about today, Hugo. We're here to get you a little bit educated on what's going on with P+ and what's going on with all these other games that Nintendo's kind of come crashing down on.
Yes, definitely interested, want to know about all that. But first, I'm not going to lie to you. You already know I'm not fully educated on this. I need to know, P+, different from Project M or...
Yes.
Okay.
So PM was done by the original Project M development team, or the PMDT. They were a group of people coming together to initially mod Brawl, which led to a variety of releases, all the way through the betas, up to 3.02, which was the first official release. And that was kind of the golden era that most people associate with before the first Nintendo shutdown.
Is that the one where Mewtwo was broken?
That's the one where Mewtwo was busted.
Yeah, there you go. I remember that era.
And so then you have 3.5, and then 3.6 kind of comes out right as the shutdown happens. And that was the version we were working with for a long time. But then as the years went by, folks were getting kind of frustrated with the state of the game, kind of the meta that developed. And eventually a group of people came together to form the Project Plus development team, which is a separate team working to create a spiritual successor to PM using the game's pre-existing work as much as we can, with the permissions, of course, of the people that worked on it originally. We do have the blessings of most of the PMDT on this.
And did they not want y'all to just use the same name, or that was just some they decided?
I believe it was something that originally came just out of a matter of wanting to have it be understood that it is distinct. It is not the original team, just so the sake of Nintendo, if they were to look at it, wouldn't be able to point at the PMDT if they took umbrage with it. It would have to be, we're responsible for this as the Project Plus development team.
And as far as the gameplay, would it be like Project M patched, or is it just that much different?
It is pretty much Project M patch.
Got it.
There
Okay.
aren't a whole lot of significant changes to how characters play.
Okay.
There's a few small things. Charizard doesn't have a fire breath anymore. Bowser has a fireball instead.
Oh.
So Charizard has Thunder Punch now, which is super sick.
Oh. Okay.
Broadly speaking, it plays very similarly to how 3.6 played, the last iteration of PM, and so it's still receiving a lot of love from the community. Basically, the whole community has transitioned
Ooh. Okay.
over to P+. There are some people that still play 3.6. I know that Spain is a big holdout.
Okay.
Certain parts of Spain as well.
Always happens. Can't Spain just move on, dude? Can't they just move on to the new game?
Well,
That's
one
how
would
I'm feeling.
think.
Yeah.
One would think, but some people really
Weird.
do just prefer 3.6 flat out.
Sometimes people prefer the old game. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
weird that people hold on to games for so long.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I definitely would never do
Decades
that
even.
myself.
Yeah.
I would never do that
I would
myself.
never do that. No. Okay, cool. So good to know. Good crash course on what's going on there. So got a lot of love, got a lot of fans, and recently there's been a change in sentiment in the overall Smash community towards P plus community, or just the Smash alt community, where after that whole anonymous Smasher thing comes out, and we find out that a lot of decisions that were made that kind of hurt the Project M community at the time were done in the hopes of gaining Nintendo's favor for the other Smash titles. Then, as the community has realized that one, Nintendo's never going to help, two, they've been actively pieces of shit all along, there's kind of been a lot of love and support being given back to these scenes. Partly because there are a lot of people who love being a part of those scenes the whole time, and then other people kind of just like, shit, our bad, right? We shouldn't make up for that dog shit that we did. So there's been a lot of support I've been seeing from these events running. Like, this wasn't a consideration at the last main stage, right?
Not
Or
at all.
other big events. So with all that support, how is that scene taking it?
So we're doing really well right now.
Okay.
With P Plus having been launched, I believe it was back in February or March of 2020. You know, we were in quarantine. We were all dealing with delay-based netcode at that time, and all of a sudden we have P Plus. A lot of Melee players, after, of course, hearing about all this stuff that Nintendo's pulled in various ways, whether it was holding us back with, Red Bull circuits, holding us back with, investments and sponsors from other parts of the community. A lot of people were really on that fuck Nintendo pack, which I'm
yeah.
about.
Oh, yeah.
And so just the fact that not just P Plus, but us collectively have been stopped from being something so much more than we are now, which I think we're still incredible. The fact that we do this grassroots, the fact that we do everything on our own, by and large, is great. But like the fact that they took away what we could have been, I think hurt everybody. And so everybody got really interested in P Plus launching. We saw Mango playing it on stream. We saw IBW playing on stream.
Oh, nice.
It was the go-to game for a while.
Oh, and question, is this not it's not touchy on Twitch anymore? Because I know it used to be.
We stream on the Brawl category. If we're streaming P Plus, we have to stream the Brawl category.
Yeah, okay. And by the way, just we talked about it privately, but just to say it in front of everybody, you can literally talk about this in any way you want. I'm not like, oh, let's not pretend that, like, I'm not trying to hide it from Nintendo's eyes or Twitch's eyes. You can literally say whatever you want here. I don't care if my channel gets shut down for putting this all out there. I don't give a shit. It's fine.
I am very thankful for the opportunity to speak on this with you, Hugo.
Yes. So
for us here in the scene, like where we were thinking we were going to be at, with events coming back from COVID, it seemed like we were going to have P Plus at majors again, which was enormous for us. We've been on the outside of things for so long. We've been running our own events for so long, and kind of like we've had shadow majors before, where there's main stage or Genesis going on, or there's an event in your area, and we just happen to have a P Plus side event there.
That's like
away from prying eyes.
Yeah, like hyper grassroots, right? Grassroots on the grassroots.
Yeah, we've kind of been doing our best to piggyback, and so the opportunity for us to be able to come back in and be welcomed back into the scene was really hopeful for a lot of us. And for Nintendo to come in 2 weeks before Riptide, literally 2 weeks, and say, you can't run this at your event. If there is like they say, you can't run it at your event, and you can't have setups for it at the event either. So they couldn't even
play friendlies,
lend us venue space. Yeah,
Piece of
they
shit.
had they had a hallway for PM, basically a whole area set up for us and everything
Uh-huh.
that just went unused because they couldn't give us that space without it being an issue.
And they still had to pay for that space.
Yes, I believe so. I don't
Nice.
know if Kalahari was able to give them back that money or not.
Man,
Uh,
probably the only people worse than Nintendo are hotel groups, venue spaces, but they probably did not refund Riptide for that. Yeah,
so
that's really fucked up. And y'all
it
were
is.
looking forward to bouncing back alongside the Smash community at large, and then you have this kind of shit happening. What's the sentiment now?
So I was working with Low Tide City for a long time. As of right now, am not affiliated with Tourney Locator. I am starting a tournament that is going to be running in an adjacent venue.
Oh,
It's
okay.
going to be a P plus event because the real thing that we've been doing
Hmm.
has been running these events concurrently. Still, we're going back to our old ways, the ways that we were forced to by necessity, and again, once again, are forced to by necessity. There was a P plus tournament in a nearby venue for Riptide called Undertow. And I gotta say,
Aha.
shout outs to everybody that makes the names for these because they rule. You
Is
know,
there one for Low Tide City?
there is. We're calling it Shipwrecked.
Nice.
And so
Okay.
I'm thinking if I bring it back, if I have to, we're gonna go with Shipwrecked to Ship-Faced.
Okay.
But so
I
basically, what
love
we're
it.
doing is we're having to scramble. We're having to put in all this time and effort to be able to get a tournament going once again. So the team for Undertow managed to do all this with basically zero notice, 2 weeks out.
Oh, so the
Um,
people
it,
that paid for their flights and all that for P plus and such, they still got to play an event.
yeah,
That's
we
hella
still
dope.
had
Yeah.
I think they had over 200 entrants.
Hmm.
They threw it in a Best Western Plus like conferencing room center.
Uh huh.
And it was great. I actually hopped over there after I was done commentating Melee. I was working like 6 hours a day, 2 hours on, 2 hours off. I got off at 8 p.m. and I walked over to the venue and I got to scream my lungs out for top eight.
That's fucking sick. Let me ask you this. Just hear me out. This is just an idea I'm throwing out. What if you onboarded with every event you wanted to be a part of, right? As if Nintendo didn't exist, right? Like you'd
Right.
be one of the events at Genesis, you'd be one of the events at Big House, etc. And then everybody just kind of assumes that Nintendo's going to shut it down. So like you just get the chance to create like you already plan on doing this backup. The
Yeah.
main tournament doesn't plan on including space for the event because they expect Nintendo to shut it down. You still get the same hype that gets built up from these bigger events having you on board. Still fly out for these bigger events, and then when Nintendo inevitably does this thing, if they do, then you still have the event, but you have the attendees.
Yeah.
I,
So
you know,
that
I don't
is
know.
strikingly similar to what we've been doing with
Okay,
these. It hasn't been nearly as intentional as what you're proposing.
right.
Right now it's just been the idea for Low Tide was we have complete radio silence on P Plus. After Riptide got shut down, we were gonna say, okay, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep P Plus, we're gonna keep Beyond Melee, we're gonna keep Smash 64 Remix, and basically we're gonna shut the fuck up about all of them. We're just
Okay.
gonna be quiet. We're gonna create as little hubbub as possible,
Hmm.
and we're gonna see if they leave us alone. And
Okay.
as you may have seen, they didn't. I got word on Monday from one of the heads of Tourney Locator that we were not going to be able to have P Plus there. He said,
Hmm.
"You need to start looking for a venue." And you know, what I did, Hugo. I went and I found myself a venue the day
Fuck.
after.
Fuck yeah.
I've got a venue. I've got crowdsourced CRTs. I've got enough setups for everything.
Hmm.
I'm basically working with several people in the community. Folks, I'm just going to name drop Arsenal's, Motobug, Melee Sad Post has been doing a lot of great work, and Saber, of course. All of them have kind of come together with me to help me salvage what we can of this event.
Nice.
And what we've been doing, I've got the attendee list from the Smash GG before it all went, dark on P Plus and everything.
Uh huh.
And so I've sent out information to them on how to get into our Discord and how to get into our Smash GG. So we're
Nice.
taking that attendee list as best as we can, porting them on over.
Okay.
And we've
Do you
got,
usually get the majority of the attendees?
yeah.
Okay.
Since it's such short notice, most folks say, well, I've got my flight already. I've got housing already.
Hmm.
And we have folks that didn't even register for Low Tide that are already like, I'm going to come out for this. So I've already got Twisty, who's a PM player up in the Northeast, and he's like, yeah, so I just bought a flight.
Oh wait,
um,
sorry, like bought a flight brand new for this?
or Shipwrecked. Wasn't
Cool.
even interested in Low Tide. He's here for
Ah,
Shipwrecked.
nice.
Um, yeah,
That's
and
hardcore.
yeah, so we've been doing a lot. My plan is to stream just about every day I can. I didn't stream today because Undertow is being streamed, which is the tournament that happened at Riptide. It was all done recorded, and
Oh,
now they're restreaming the
oh, that's cool.
broadcast on HeartSwap TV, which is a great channel to read if you're interested to after this.
Yep, check it out. We
And
love
so
advertising completely different platforms while we're on Twitch. I don't care.
it is on Twitch. So it is.
Oh, it
It's
is. Oh, that's the
Twitch.tv.
channel. Sorry, I
Yeah,
thought
it's on
Heart
video.
Swap TV. Okay, it's the channel. I thought that was like a service. Got it. Okay.
And
Sweet.
so, yeah, Top 16 is happening right now. You can probably, after
Beautiful.
the interview, slide on over some viewership to top 8.
Yeah, I'll watch.
But basically, we have been doing this from the ground up. I'm off work. I recently accepted a position with Smash GG, and I took a week in between Riptide and my job starting. And so I have actually, it's worked out really well. But
Nice.
I've been working my ass off to make sure this thing can go down. We've got
Mhm.
the venue secured. We've got, internet at the venue. It's got like 30 tables and 300 chairs built in with the venue. We've already raised enough money for the deposit on the venue, and I've been using Matcherino. We've got a fat prize pool, Hugo. We've
Oh,
got nearly $3,500 at this point.
yo,
And
nice. For you said
yeah,
like 300 entrants?
no, 300 chairs.
Oh,
But we are working on our entrance
okay,
list.
okay.
Right now, I think we're around the 50s and 60s, just kind of because folks haven't ported over. It's a free event, so folks that have already set up and paid their money to Low Tide can either keep their money there to support Tourney Locator, or if they want, get their refund and then do what they will with it. And if they feel like putting money towards the pod or towards staffing and venue, we can do that as well, of course.
That's a fucking fire idea, and I'm glad to see that you're putting this shit together. I know it's got to be stressful, and
Yeah, my sleep hasn't been great.
nah, no way, dude. It's hard enough to plan a tournament in general. You're kind of trying to pull some shit together, like the whole Apex crew at 2015. Except they had like a day, but you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
this is
they
the
were flying by the seat of their pants.
yeah,
I've at least got the whole pant leg going in,
yeah.
Um,
So it's still happening. The people aren't being left in the dust. That's good to know because that was my biggest concern when I got the news and how fucked they were. Question: I imagine there is some sort of crossover between P Plus and one of the official Smash titles at tournaments. Are you possibly working with Low Tide City in terms of like scheduling?
No.
No. Okay.
So, in terms of navigating this safely, in a legal way, I am, and we can clip this and send it to Nintendo. I am completely unaffiliated with Tourney Locator
Okay.
and Low Tide City.
Got it. Okay.
I will be I will be commentating Melee at Low Tide City, but that is the official extent of my involvement with them.
Got it.
Um,
Officially. Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
officially.
Okay. Got
You
it.
can't see my right eye right now, but it's the
Yeah.
only one closing and opening. So,
Yeah. Which doesn't
um,
mean anything because
exactly.
right. This is
Yeah.
official. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Understood. Cool. Well,
Hmm.
hopefully, all the players get to, have a good weekend and play whatever they'd like.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, another question now. With all this shit happening, what is the plan for the future? You had to scramble for these next two events. But now, as you heard, some events are just preemptively not allowing it, like main stage, which, I don't blame them. It sucks to put down all these resources for other titles, and then Nintendo just comes in and shuts you down. And it's been pretty reliable that Nintendo's going to come and do this bullshit. So what is the plan for the future? Is it just going to be straight up homegrown events purely for P plus, or is there still a plan to attach yourselves to some tournaments and then do it a different way?
So short answer is we're gonna do whatever it's gonna take to keep playing our game.
Okay.
Long answer is it is unlikely that future events are going to be able to continue to partner with Project Plus. Unlikely to have it at their events if they have Melee and Ultimate. We may be able to see Melee and P Plus at the same event. Most of our suspicion about why Nintendo's suddenly been so hard-assed about this again is that they do this either if Ultimate's at the event, or if Melee is at the event. They do this because they or if something with a Nintendo Direct is happening in the next couple of months. It's kind of a loose conspiracy theory, but
Okay.
we've noticed that when something is going on with the Ultimate community, there tends to be more going on against the P Plus community or against mods
Wait, so
related
question,
to Smash.
what's going on with Ultimate right now?
They've got that fighter, the last fighter of Fighter Pass 2 that is supposed to come out in fourth quarter of 2021. And so
Oh,
that's our big suspicion is they
okay.
want to make sure that everyone's eyes are on that, but it's like I said, it's kind of loose. Basically, we will be having shadow events. We will be in different venues. We will be nearby as much as possible. I know that the main stage, the folks that we're working on main stage PM are working on an event that can run concurrently. I believe the balcony, which is a big name in PM, especially in SoCal, may
Yes.
be working there as well.
Okay.
And so that is going to be happening in November. So we've got Shipwrecked that is going to be happening in the first week of October. It's going to be October 2nd. I can't say anything about where to find the Discord or the Smash GG just because we want to minimize our risk as much as possible.
Yeah. So is this
But
kind of like a if you know, you know kind of thing?
yeah, that's how
Okay.
it operated with Undertow. I'm being a little bit louder about it because I think that basically coming out and saying that we are still here is super important to folks that may not know about us. I don't
Yes.
want us to just operate permanently in the shadows. I do think that being public about it, I've got Nintendo blocked on just about everything, so I doubt they're seeing it unless they're
Yeah.
really working hard. But
Yeah.
it's it's something we'll continue to do around your favorite events. And if you're a P plus homie, or if you're a melee homie or an alt homie that's interested in getting into P plus, come check out our events because
Yeah. So you're
my venue's a half-mile walk from the Kalahari. It
right.
is close.
So are you
Um,
saying that, if people are possibly interested and, big house is coming up or something, they could trust that there might be something in the vicinity for P plus?
well, Juggle Rob's anti-PM aura might
Okay.
they might just subsume the entirety of the state of Michigan. But
But
he's a
maybe
cool
other
guy.
events. Yeah.
I like Juggle Rob a lot.
Right,
But
right, right.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I got you.
it's
Maybe some other events.
yeah, I do think that we're going to be at as many events as possible. We are going to be doing all that we can to make this happen, and we're not going to let a company that is gaining literally nothing from this. It's about IP control. They don't sell copies of Brawl. They don't sell copies of Melee. They don't sell copies of 64. And the folks that are making fan mods don't really make money off of it. It's all love.
Yep.
At most, some players make money because that's how we structure our tournaments, and that's not related to the game itself.
It feels like it's just some kind of weird philosophy they have where if they allow it, then they're allowing more of it. And they're allowing it in a way that could potentially cause them harm commercially. I think, honestly, that's the only thing I could think of for why they would do such a thing. But it's so disconnected from what is actually happening here. You're not really giving a green light to people who actually want to, like, infringe on the IP property to make crazy profit. Like, it's very clear that the people who do this are just passionate about their own community and what they're creating here. And it's so detached from what Nintendo's actually worried about that it's just silly for them to treat it as if it's as criminal as what they're worried about.
Absolutely. And the big thing is that I can say safely for myself and many others that we'd be buying Nintendo products if they weren't pulling this.
Oh, yeah.
They are actively losing people, actively losing customers because we're minuscule in comparison to what they're doing. They're one of the largest gaming companies in the world. They're not
Yeah,
going to look at that and say, oh well, they're not going to change their behavior because of it. But, I've been playing Nintendo games since I was like 6 years old, and I haven't bought a Nintendo game in like 2 years because of all of this.
But to me, what's funny about Nintendo is in the same light that they might not care that much about the financial prospects of this small community, what it costs them to shun y'all when y'all might be spending money on Nintendo product. Like, that means very little to them. But on the other side of it, what y'all are doing by taking their IP or whatever should also mean very, very little to them. Why is it that the negative side of it matters so goddamn much to Nintendo, but they never care about the positive side? They never do. Never.
It's about control is really all I think it boils down to is they have such an idea of what Nintendo needs to look like to people that it's about making sure that their brand remains as sterling as they want it. They don't want it associated with modders. They don't want it associated with all these different things. And it's
competition even in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
And it's like the people that make this aren't looking to actively compete, but because they're so corporate, they're gonna see it as such. It's crazy. And
And I mean,
I think we're all
I'm hoping there's a future where this constant need to control their image and their brand in a certain light is actually them creating a shittier brand. Like, I mean, you know what Nintendo looks like to us now and the
Mhm.
competitive Smash community at large. They've kind of fucked themselves over on that brand side. But again, we're much smaller than the vast majority of their player base, so they might not care now, but I'm hoping at some point in the future it starts to really bite them in the ass. And my hope is that there's eventually some kind of actual competition for the platform fighter genre where they could actually realize the kind of bullshit they've done throughout all these years.
Well, Nick All-Stars Brawl is looking pretty interesting. It's by
Yeah.
Ludosity, who are the same folks that did Slap City.
Mhm.
I know I'm going to be checking it out. I'm sure it's going to be
Yeah.
a hot stream game for you and a lot of other Smash streamers.
Definitely gonna be playing it. Hopefully it's got some longevity in it.
Yeah, I think the dev support's going to be there
Yeah.
in a big way. Yeah, but we're going to keep doing what we're doing, Hugo.
Mhm.
It's never going to be over, I don't think, unless like we have some landmark legal case, which none of us have the money for.
Yeah, I honestly feel like in the end they're not going to be able to actually stop y'all from playing the game and from doing what you're doing. Like, they probably have the resources to fight it day in and day out, but I feel like we're too grassroots and we're too in love with the shit that we play that we're probably going to cost them more trouble than we're worth. And eventually, we're the ones that win out by continuing to play the games that we love. It's been proven with Melee. It's been proven with PM already, like the Project Plus, Project Melee, etc. All those communities, it's been proven thus far where they're still around. They're still strong. They're still united. Y'all are throwing your own side events, shadow events, and all that, and they haven't been able to stop it despite constant beatdowns.
Oh man, we're a resistant bunch, and
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think they could stop us if they tried.
Yeah.
It would take far too much time and effort for the Ninty Ninjas to come after us.
Yeah.
But,
One last thing I want to ask you, speaking of
Mhm.
Ninty Ninjas. People have been talking on Twitter. It's like, yo, why don't we just run, quotation marks, Brawl events at these majors and have people sign up for Brawl and then see what happens? Why not that, if you're willing to talk about it?
it's kind of a murky one for me. I think that if we were to run it as quotation marks Brawl, it's feasible that we could get away with it, but it would depend on how much they're really paying attention on social media, how clocked in they're folks that do have to basically waste their time on us. Right?
Waste their
'Cause,
time,
like,
absolutely.
yeah, that's what they're doing. They're just saying, "Oh, you can't do that,"
Mhm.
and they have to pay attention to us. They have to look at us, and at the end of the day, we're still going to do it. They may loosely threaten legal action against some of our organizations. They may loosely, and deeply advise that if we don't pull it, there will be repercussions. But
Mhm.
then we literally spring up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Within the first couple hours of knowing for sure that LTC wasn't going to have it, I had a venue. They're not going to stop us, Hugo. It's a fool's errand. And so for me with the Brawl thing, it's not super safe. Practical Task just pointed that out as well.
Mhm.
Because I think that having it be sufficiently distinct, having it be, even if we have to fake it for the sake of Smash GG, I think that us making sure that people know that we're here, if there is an actual Brawl scene still, which I think there are some people that really still love Brawl.
Weird.
Yeah, little weird, but more power to them for
If they
sticking with
love
it.
Brawl, that's cool. I'm just an open Brawl hater, but yeah.
I know, I feel you. But to each their own, and
Yeah.
for everything, we're just gonna keep doing it, man. I know Melee's the same way. I've seen some worry about Slippy. I'm pretty heavy into the Melee scene myself. I commentate, I play, I work in the scene, and so it's the idea of one unit feels a fair bit more tangible than it used to be.
Yeah, lately. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but I wanted to bring up a funny story based
Okay,
on
you got
something
one
you
for
just
me?
mentioned. Yeah, you know how you said, you don't know how much Nintendo's paying attention, where if they were, it'd be kind of hard to get away with a lot of things. What's really funny is I remember during the Smash 4 Invitational at E3, the one that like PPMD was at, that I was at, PPU was at, a representative of Nintendo was actually telling us that we were selected because they had been watching our socials for a very long time and they've been making sure that we're like brand good, and they really did their due diligence to make sure we were solid, and that's why we were selected. And it was really funny because when they said that, I don't know if you've seen that summit skit where they bring up my tweets and I have to respond to them like in person. It wasn't a skit, but it was like a talk show, the Scar and Toph talk show at the end, and then they brought up these tweets. There was one tweet where I wrote it down and I said, there isn't a porn star on this planet that I can't find with a search. That was the tweet. I just tweeted that. This was before I did the Smash 4 Invitational with E3. When I was told this shit by this Nintendo representative, I immediately thought to that tweet. And I was like, dude, you're so full of shit. And like, it doesn't come to my, it doesn't.
You're up to here with it.
Yeah, I didn't actually consider what they were doing until now. Mm-hmm. I suspect that they were actually trying to convince us that we are always on watch, so we should always be on our best behavior because they are watching. Just to stop us from doing shit without them having to waste the resources on actually tracking us.
Yeah.
They just straight up lied to what a corporate move to try to get people to think that way. You know, I'm sure they do have people watching sometimes here and there, but there's no way that I got away with being on that stage writing some dog shit like that. You know what I mean? And half of us there, right?
I think at the very least they have like brand researchers, and
they have something.
At most, I wouldn't be surprised if someone at a tournament is like high-key a Nintendo plant.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that either, to be honest. Yeah. I'm not suggesting that they don't have people watching, but I am suggesting...
It is hilarious.
that they would try to scare people into thinking that they're more vigilant than they actually are. Because, let's be real, it's still a resource. It's still something that they have to commit to this. And it's easier to just lie and just say that this is what we're doing when it's really not all the way.
I do love the idea of like the FBI guy on your webcam and the Nintendo guy like fist bumping each other, and they're like, this one can slide.
Yeah.
You know, I'm right there with them, dog.
Yeah. But yeah, cool, dude. That was super informative. I actually learned a lot about, future plans. I'm glad you got to talk about it. I'm sure there were people here in my chat who didn't know. Do you want to leave us with anything else? Any other information? Shout outs? Anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, of course, shout outs to the P+ scene. Y'all are incredible and keep holding us down. The only reason I'm able to do what I can for this community is because it exists. Me putting in some legwork, getting a venue, la-di-da, all the time and money does come from the community, and it's incredible. Other than that, if y'all want to, maybe hear about what's going on with Shipwrecked, my DMs are open.
What's your Twitter? I'll type it out.
Yeah, it's at Studebacher Hoch with a 0 instead of an O. That's not because I'm a quirky asshole. It's because there's like 2 accounts that have Studebaker and Studebacher Hoch.
Yeah, well, it's a fucking song,
each,
dude.
Bro. They have one tweet each,
It's a fucking song, bro. That's your fault. You did this.
Character in a song, Hugo. It's a character. Come on, man. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah. But,
no sympathy, dude. That's all you. You did this to yourself. Dude. You played yourself.
Bro, Hugs86. Come on.
Yeah.
Bro.
There's no... You search that shit on Google, you're going to find one person.
He's right. He's so right. Other than that, though, you guys can check out my Twitch, too. I'll be streaming a bunch to help raise money for our venue costs.
And is that the same as your...
It'll actually be just twitch.tv/Studebaker. Okay. I've decided to go for the shorter one for that. It's a little snappier.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to rebrand Everman. I just don't know. We'll figure it out.
So, yeah, if y'all are interested in these events, DM him there.
Yeah, I got the goods, man.
Yeah.
Come through. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. We've got about, I think, 15 days left before this has to pop off, and I'm doing my best to make it an incredible one.
Nice. I'm glad to hear it, man. I'm glad y'all are still getting this together, and, nobody's being left to hang out to dry.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
It's been a real pleasure talking with you, man. It's I understand not coming to Riptide. I hope to see you at some of these events in the future.
Yes, sir. I'll be going to some stuff soon.
And we'll definitely grab a Voodoo Ranger together.
Hey, that's what I like to hear. All right, thanks a lot for joining me, man. Thanks for giving us this info.
Of course, man. Real pleasure. You take care, and everyone watching, thank you for joining us.
All right, peace out. That interview I did with Stude was dope. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace. Sorry that Junebug couldn't make it. He's doing other things today. I've heard about this Sex at June's account. I guess it's pretty literal. He shows up whenever I'm talking about Junebug having sex.